Alright, welcome to video lesson 3C, slicing an object for second head support. This is basically the same process as slicing a model with support from the same head, except all the support is going to be delivered from a second head. Now you should have already done steps 3A and 3B, which is making sure your two heads are set to the same 0 position and printing your target calibration pattern so that you have the offsets saved. So if we go here, we see that I still have my offsets from the last video. The first head, the primary head, has got no offsets, and the offsets are programmed in the second head. Alright, so I'm going to go to my 3D view, and I'm going to add an object, an STL file, and this is going to be a file called supportme.stl. Alright, I'm going to bring him to the center, and if we look at him from the side, we can see that there's a significant overlap here, which we would not expect to do well without support. So we're going to designate support from a second head for this model. Right. I don't need to scale it or rotate it or anything. Now I could rotate it on its side and it would not need support, but maybe that's not the way I want the stress patterns, the cleavage planes, and the weak joints to be. I can just pop it around the X 90 degrees, bring it back up, and print it like that with no support. But for purposes of today, we're going to do it back at 0 degrees, and we're going to print with support. The only thing I have to do differently under Slicer, I clicked Edit Recipes and brought up my Recipe Configure tool, and instead of doing the standard 30 millimeters a second, 35% honeycomb infill pattern, I've got a new recipe I just made which has support added to it. And it's the same basic recipe, except that here under support material I have it checked. Anything with 35 degrees or shallower angle above horizontal will be given support. And here are the settings we like to use: 2.5 millimeter pattern spacing for pillar support, and you've got combinations here or different patterns you can use here. And also under multiple extruders, normally we just slice for one extruder, we don't tell it what extruder to use, and it doesn't make any tool changes. But for this one, I'm telling it I want extruder number 2 for the perimeter, the infill, and the solid infill, and I want extruder number 3 for the support material and or raft and or skirt, and then also for the interface material where the support material actually meets the model material. I've saved that. Let's just save it again. So now I just come over here and I say I'm going to pick that recipe with support. I've got the same recipes for all my extruders: heated head, slice with slicer. Slicing log's going, it's going fast, and it's done. So now we can see that it's going to print the model in the yellow filament, because I have that for the first extruder, and then it's going to print the support material from the blue head. But I don't have that much yellow left on my spool, so I'm going to delete this and change it. And I'm going to change my recipe so that I have head number 3 for my primary material and head number 2 for my support material. I'm going to save that again. And so you want to close this window if you've made a change and saved it, so that on your configuration tool it'll reload these and make sure it resources with that new data. And slice with slicer. Alright, this is better, this is what I want. This is when you get ready to print. I always like to do a preview layer by layer. So let's look down here from the top. Support material in yellow, model in blue. You see the yellow is printed less densely, that's so that it will break off more easily when your print is done. And now it's the interface where it's going to actually support the other material. That's it. So the critical layers are right here. Layer 39. So let's go up here and show you just layer 39 or 38. Through 40. So if we zoom in from the side here, you see how that's going to go. Alright, let's give it a shot. I'm going to just double check. Bed's set to 80, the heads are all set to 240, flow rate for 200 microns, and my movement speeds are 1800. I'm going to save this file to my desktop, although actually it's already saved right here, support.me.g code. So we're good. Purge a little material from the heads before we start our print. That looks good. And go. Alright, so now let's scrape our part off. Oh, and he actually separated from the support material right there. So we'll just do some trimming of the brim, and the skirt is still there, it's in yellow. So here's the part we printed, and there's the overhang. There's just a little bit of cleanup to do. It's not the most beautiful undersurface, but you can change the density of your support material to affect that. But all in all, once you get a little cleanup on it, that's a good part. So that's how you print with support material. Second head support. See you in the next video.